But so then like goes into the hybrid player here, Rock, and that's Alex Bregman.
Yeah.
Because, dude, and this list that we're about to see about Alex Bregman is so fascinating to me. How many good players are still left on this list? But Bregman to me is one that can make a team be not just a contending team to make the playoffs, but can take them over the top to be a World Series contender. And recently, both Jon Morosi was commenting on it, but then manager of the Boston Red Sox, Alex Cora, that spent time when he was in Houston with Alex Bregman, talked about what could be a fit, but maybe not what everyone's thinking about for Alex Bregman. So I'm going to play that clip for you guys, and we're going to react on the other side.
Available. Here's the list. It's a pretty strong list. There are a number of difference-making players when you think about Pivetta, who, of course, is one of their returning players. But let's focus right now on someone on the left-hand side of the screen in Alex Bregman. Now, Bregman played for current Red Sox manager Alex Cora when they were both in Houston. Let's listen to what Alex Cora said when Tom Caron of Nesson asked about how potentially and hypothetically Bregman could fit into the Red Sox infield and if Rafael Devers remains the Red Sox third baseman of the present and future.
Rafi Devers is our third baseman. Alex was a Gold Glover at third base, and we all know that. But in 2017, I had a conversation with him, and he needed to play third because he was Correa and Altuve. I always envisioned Alex as a Gold Glover second baseman. His size, the way he moves, it felt kind of like you will be a second baseman, but he has played third base at a high level, so we'll see where he ends up.
What Bregman would mean for the Boston Red Sox and how well he would fit in that part of the diamond and in that lineup, how great he would complement the lefty bat of Rafael Devers. The swing would play there, Matty and Harold. I think that Bregman, in so many ways, an ideal fit for the Red Sox if he's willing to play second base because of their commitment long-term to Rafael Devers.
So really fascinating on this case because that was the one element that people hadn't talked about of maybe putting Devers over to first. But how about no. Cora's saying we're keeping Devers at third, but the comments that they made that they viewed Alex Bregman as a second baseman for Houston, but because they had Altuve already and Correa, we're going to put him at third. Keep in mind, Alex Bregman was a shortstop in college.
Yeah.
So then they moved him off of that.
Go Tigers.
Yeah. Yep. Coach O right there. Wrong sport, but same thing. How they say it down there? How they say it down there?
Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Exactly. So for Alex, though, Alex Cora talking about Bregman, look, it makes a lot of sense. And it kind of indicates and it opens up the thought process. Would the Red Sox be willing to give a bigger deal and Alex move over to second? Because if that happens, I'll tell you what, man, I thought that the Red Sox would be contending in the American League East this year. And they were a team that I would, between the Yankees and the Red Sox, I think have the higher upside over the next 5. If they get Bregman in this infield, this Red Sox team becomes not only contending this year, they become very dangerous. Alex Bregman's one of those guys, looking at him in the lineup. That's why I said he's a hybrid. The dude can hit for some power, but he doesn't strike out much, and he's going to find a way to get on base, and he plays good defense. I'm surprised that there isn't more guys or more teams that are willing to go out and get him. And if it was me, Boston, I'm making the deal, but it seems like, Zach, Zach maybe go next seems like there's some pushback on getting a long-term deal and that money. So maybe he has to go to the short-term deal.
Yeah. And that's kind of the risk that these are not even risk. That's kind of where we sit at this part of the MLB offseason every single year. It's these higher end contracts, the Pete Alonsos, the Alex Bregmans, the Anthony Santanders. They sit there and go, okay, we're not getting the long-term deal we want. Maybe it's time to look shorter deal. When it comes to the Red Sox, Rip, I agree. I have no clue what they're doing. Why he is not already in Boston makes no sense to me. I get the whole they don't want to maybe give up all those years, that big of a contract. But if you're able to, with the young core they're building, the upside coming through their system, you already added Crochet, obviously, this offseason. If you add Bregman to throw at second base, it feels like this Red Sox team, like you said, they jump a lot of people in the American League this offseason from team you're saying, yeah, they'll hover around 500. They have a good upside, though. You know, they got some players, to you're looking at it and you're like, this team could win the AL. And I'm not just saying, you know, go on a lucky streak. They could be the 1 seed in the AL, win 100+ games, and then win the World Series. That's how much talent is on that Red Sox team, especially if you add a guy like Bregman. You know, they would be the perfect mixture if you have this up-and-coming talent mixed in with already high upside, you know, big-time players that you know are going to produce. And it gives you that ability to where if you hit the perfect storm and the young guys produce and the, you know, more established guys continue, it's a very damn good team.
Yeah, and it almost makes too much sense for Bregman to sign with the Red Sox. But the question is, I don't think if the Red Sox won him in Boston, is Alex Bregman willing to play second base? Is he willing to swallow his pride and play a different position? Because I know that baseball players, Rip, and you do too, they're very prideful about where they play and how they play and what they do. And I know it wasn't to this magnitude. It was a much higher magnitude back then, but you look at the Alex Rodriguez, Derek Jeter, when he came into New York. And again, not comparing Alex Bregman endeavors to Jeter and A-Rod, but you look at that and it was like, you're going to play third base. We have our shortstop. With Bregman, it's like the conversation is you're going to play second base. We have our guy over here on the hot corner. So we'll see what the Red Sox end up doing. I think it would be a perfect fit. And to your point, Zach, yeah, it would leapfrog them above a ton of teams because you've seen the moves that the Red Sox have made in the offseason. They have been active this offseason, one of the most active teams when you're talking about a Major League Baseball. And you talk about the Garrett Crochet deal. Yeah, that was great. And you talk about potentially getting Bregman, but like smaller moves that are going to help in the long run. Like smaller than a Crochet would be Walker Buehler, but getting him and adding him to the staff is big. Then you get Aroldis Chapman. Then you go out and get Patrick Sandoval. They're a team that looks like they're looking to be World Series or bust, as a lot of teams strive to do. But you get a guy like Bregman, I feel like you're not in the driver's seat, but you're in a pretty damn good position going forward when it comes to trying to get there.
I want to make a point about that when you're saying about some of the other acquisitions. Like the big name that they got was Crochet in the trade, right? But their staff as a whole, and Tanner Houck's a very good pitcher, and they have pieces. But I would say their starting staff is very comparable to Baltimore, where they have some exciting parts. But then these veteran pitchers, what do? So if they elevate and they pitch really well, Boston's going to play better. But I would still take Baltimore's bullpen right now over Boston's.
Yeah.
The thing that can set Boston's lineup over the edge is Bregman. And it's the one move when I look around and you're looking at the talent with the situation, it fits. And I'll tell you, Rock, I don't think Bregman's too prideful to move over. I think it's about pay me my value. You value me, I'll go play second base, but you gotta pay up. The short-term deals, if he's not, then you mentioned earlier the Windy City going to Chicago. I could see that. But if we're looking at a fit and Alex Cora knowing Bregman, the relationship that they have, it just seems like it'd be a really good move. And I think that people underrate just how good Alex Bregman is. And just because it's a different scenario, I think we're going to see a really good production from him. And the one thing I saw a comment here, we got to move on to the final thing and get ready to wrap up. But Adit, you asked about this. Would you offer, if you were Mike Elias, offer this deal? Unfortunately, Bregman to me is not an option, and only for this. Mm-hmm. If the Orioles didn't have Jackson Holliday or Jordan Westburg, 1,000% I am getting Bregman. I'm going and getting him. He would have been my priority over the other free agents in a heartbeat. I love what he brings as a player. But if you're committing to Jackson Holliday, which I am all about, all on board, he's got to play. Jordan Westburg's an all-star. He's got to play. Gunnar Henderson's your shortstop, all-star, MVP caliber player. He's got to play. There's just not a space for Bregman in that infield. But if Jackson wasn't here, Jordan wasn't here, then that would have been priority number one for me, Alex Bregman making his way to Baltimore.